YouTube, what's going on, guys? It's Mike here and I'm back with another video, and today we're building a chicken brooder. This is an awesome option. I found this online. It was actually on YouTube from Green Acre Homestead. They have an awesome channel. Go check them out. This is my take on their design, so I want to make sure I give them credit because this is not my design, but it's really easy. So let's jump right into this thing and I will show you step by step on how we're going to make a chicken brooder, and I'll tell you while we're building it why I chose this design against others that are online. So let's get right into it. So first I wanted to just go over what we have here, what the tools we're going to need, and the things that we're going to need to complete this job. So first I'll come back over here. You're going to need a drill. This is to drill holes in the side. You're going to want an oscillating tool. You don't need this. You can use a sawzall, a hand saw. This is just so that we're going to cut the edges, the top off of this, and then we're going to sand it down. So with that, I bought some new stuff for this project. Number one is the half moon tool. This is just a sharp cutting edge that we're going to use to cut this. This is a sander, so the oscillating tool, I can put this on and it's going to sand the edges off, make it nice and smooth. We have a 1/2-inch drill bit. We're going to use that to build them like a little play set, a little something that they could hang out on, jump on, learn how to perch and kind of create their own little pecking order at a young age. So that's important. We have some zip ties. These are self-explanatory. These are going to actually adhere the wire, the netting. You can use chicken wire. You can use really anything for this. I'm using some leftover scrap that we had from building the chicken coop run. So this is just some scraps that I had. You're going to want to use a heating lamp. This is important for keeping the chicks warm and heated. We already went over the drill. We have some Tractor Supply premium pine shavings. So this is just something I picked up from Tractor Supply. We're going to use this as their bedding. It's going to be nice and absorbent for them so that when they poop, it absorbs that moisture and they don't get sick from that. And then we have a water. This is a basic chick water. It says a 3-in-1. I don't know. It's just going to keep them hydrated and it keeps them from drowning, which is a big risk with chicks, and it'll also keep the moisture in there and not on our flakes. So that's the equipment. There's really not much to it. I'll show you guys step by step on how we build this. Alright, so I just forgot to mention, I did buy this box, the container itself, from Lowe's. I got it from the store itself. You could probably find it online or at Home Depot or Amazon, anywhere else. Just to say, this particular box, it's not critical. You can do this with any container that you have. It could be a large milk crate if you're only doing a couple birds. It could really be anything. Your creativity is the only limiting factor here. The principle stays the same. So you'll see this is a really easy project. The first step is to just cut the top off. I'm using the oscillating tool with that half moon bit that's cutting it. You could do it with anything, a sawzall, whatever cuts, even if a hand saw, if that's all you have. So just cut the top off and then move on to the next step, which is going to be drilling some holes. So before we go and drill the holes, we're going to want to just sand it down. This isn't a necessary step here. You can do this if you want. I personally wanted to do this. I'm using the oscillating tool with a piece of sandpaper on it. You can just use sandpaper if that's all you have. Again, this isn't really necessary, but it's going to make it more pleasant when you go and grab it and there's not a sharp edge to it. So you can move on if you want. Next, it's time to drill some holes. So I'm using a 1/4-inch drill bit, and you don't have to use a 1/4-inch drill bit. You can use any drill bit you want, just as long as you could fit the zip tie size that you're going to be using through the hole. So that's the important part here. I'm going every time there's like a groove in the top. That's my spacing. You can get a tape measure out and go as crazy as you want with the spacing, but I just kind of eyed it out and just did one hole per groove just to keep the aesthetic of it the same. You probably can get away with just 4 zip ties total, one in each corner, and that'll be fine. But Next, it's time to install the metal mesh. So first things first, you could use any mesh that you have on hand, anything you really want. It could be chicken wire. I'm using a 1x1 metal mesh. It's going to keep the birds inside. It's going to give them the best ventilation. And I'm just cutting it to size here so it fits perfectly inside of the lid here. Next step is zip ties. So this is really self-explanatory. You just get a good zip tie that is gonna look good and it's gonna hold it down. You can get as creative as you want with this. This part there's not much rocket science. The one thing I will note though that I almost made a mistake on is putting the square part of the clip part inside of the chicken coop. I think that'll give it the best aesthetic appeal, but it really doesn't matter, guys. You can just do your thing, zip tie all the way around it, make sure it's in there really good, and that's it. We can move on to the next step. The next step here is to use a pair of linemans or pliers to twist the ends off of the zip ties. You want to make sure that you're twisting these and not cutting them, because when you cut them, they become really sharp, and when you just give them a twist, they pop right off and leave a nice dull surface, so the birds won't get hurt and you won't get hurt either. So twist, don't cut. Once you're done with that, you're pretty much done. You have your finished lid. There you go. You have the wire. It's adhered pretty tight. You can put a little pressure on it. It's not going to cave in. It's definitely going to keep the birds inside, and it'll keep your chicken safe. So you can now move on to the final steps of this project. The last part to this project here, is to just add your premium shavings, your pine shavings. Make sure you put these in nice and even. You want to give them a good 2 inches bedding so that they can scratch around and any poop gets absorbed. And you're ready to introduce some chickens, guys. I like to add some bricks where their water's going to go, just to bring the water up off the pine shavings. The bricks are great because it gives the hens, the chicks, a little place to jump on, and then they can't scratch the pine shavings right into the water, which happens regardless, but this slows it down a little. Once the water's in, you just have to close up the top and fit your heat lamp, put it to one side, not over the water, and that's it. Alright, so the last thing is just making a little perch for them. This is extracurricular, you don't have to do that. I use some square dowels, measuring to my bit, so my bit's just a little bit bigger. I just use some 2x4s that I cut. You don't have to cut them, you can just use rectangular ones. You simply just drill the holes, tap the dowels into place, and you have your perch. Now, one thing to note is you want to use square perches rather than round ones. They develop bumblefoot if their feet are kind of on round things. It's just the way the chicken's foot is designed. It's not designed to grab onto something round. It's designed to stand on flat ground. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for your material. And that's really it, guys. Alright guys, that's the end of the video here. So I hope you guys got something from it. I hope you give it a shot yourself. Again, I didn't come up with this design, and it's really not meant for a lot of birds. It's meant for a small handful of birds for a couple of weeks. Just keep them out of the cold weather until it gets warm, and then they can move outside into their full-size chicken run. So they'll start off here. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe if you want to see more from me. We don't have the chicks yet, but we'll have them soon enough, and you guys will see this thing in action. So I will catch up on the next video. See you guys then. Bye.